Alright, so Destiny 2 State of the Game was just posted, and I'm reading through it as any other YouTube would. However, I'm not going to read the whole thing point by point. I'm just going to give you the skimmed over, most important details that you need to know so that you can get ready for Lightfall. I'm not going to stretch it out any longer than I already have to, so let's just get started. First off, the new season that is launching with Lightfall is being called the Season of Defiance, and by the image, that's pretty ominous. Bunch of Cabal ships, a Ziggurat / Dark City on Earth. Looks to be pretty interesting. But the first note that you need to know is we will be getting rid of Umbrals and Umbral energies. The new system that will be replacing them is the same thing that you guys have for Crucible, for Trials, for the Vanguard. It's going to be reputation based. So every time you get a reputation rank, you get a seasonal engram, and then that engram can be used to focus gear through the seasonal vendor. And they will not appear in your inventory, they will only be at the vendor itself to better clear up your inventory, because Lord knows I have a postmaster of like 18 Umbral engrams just sitting there. So I think that's okay. My only issue with removing Umbral engrams means you cannot get seasonal items by playing the game by itself. You have to specifically play seasonal content, which can be a little annoying, especially in the later end of the season where you don't want to play the seasonal content. Like for me, I haven't played Heist Battlegrounds in like 2 weeks. I don't really like the activity anymore because I've been grinding it non-stop throughout the season. So hopefully they have a separate method of getting these engrams, or they're just that plentiful that it doesn't matter. We'll see how that goes. Some changes to seasonal loot and how you get it. At current, you have to spend a seasonal currency to open up a chest for seasonal loot. Now they're going to be doing away with that. Instead, you are going to be getting keys. If you've played House of Wolves, it's going to sound pretty similar. You get keys by just playing the activity randomly. The thing that's going to happen is the base chest that drops, the very first one, is going to actually have improved rewards with seasonal loot inside of it, so that the base chest is the loot you get, and the key that you use to unlock the other chest will actually be a bonus instead of being a requirement. They said they want to remove basically needing to have this currency as a requirement to get the loot that you want. So instead, it's more of a bonus chest. So this also means all seasonal currency is basically being retired. It's going to instead be keys that you get from random activities. So that's going to be pretty neat. You can also expect fewer vendor upgrades, the seasonal vendor upgrades that you get from seasonal challenges. This is to make sure that you don't feel like you have to log on every week and play content you don't want to play to get these upgrades. They're mainly going to be dished out through the story missions throughout the season, so you don't have to worry about just grinding seasonal challenges for no reason, which I'm okay with because I'm not playing Gambit any more than I already have to. Next up is some seasonal model changes, the thing that every person on Twitter has been fiending for, and honestly myself personally as well. The seasonal model will be getting a change. We actually have the name for even the next season after Season of Defiance, which is Season of the Deep. And they will be reworking the progression system, so no more vendor upgrades for that current moment. They're not getting rid of vendor upgrades, they're just looking for a fresher take on acquiring those upgrades that's not just log on, do story, done. So that's going to be pretty neat. Also, they're looking into changing the seasonal model in terms of activities. They're looking for ways to freshen up the experience, potentially include some more complex mechanics than just carry ball to thing or shoot laser at thing, which I'm all on board for. More active gameplay that requires me to think is more fun than just shooting a laser at a bunch of rocks. Another seasonal change is the number next to your icon that tells you how far you've progressed into the season pass. Yeah, that thing that tells you if people touch grass is no longer going to be there. Instead, it's going to be a nameplate represented by your Guardian rank. Guardian ranks is a completely new system coming in Lightfall. For those that don't know, it's basically a revamp of the Triumph system, where every Triumph you get gives you XP towards a level of a Guardian rank. Each Guardian rank gives you rewards like emblems, loadout slots, icons, shaders, potentially mods. It's a way of showing off how experienced you are in the game. And so this nameplate change will better be able to represent how good a player is or how experienced they are in certain parts of the game. So I think that's actually really good, because you can look at a person in the tower, see that they're Guardian rank 8 and be like, wow, that guy actually knows what the hell he's doing. And then you could probably hit him up or do whatever. So I think that's actually a really good change. Season Pass ranks have lost all meaning. It's just a way of bullying people that have 500 plus because they never go outside. Weapon crafting changes. We kind of knew this was coming as it was teased. They are getting rid of Resonant Element in favor of just Ascendant and Enhancement cores. So that is okay, but there's some other changes that they're making that I will just list point by point and go into them later. So they're actually going to be making it so that randomly rolled weapons are going to be better than crafted weapons in certain cases. The way they're going to do this is via enhanced perks. Master raid weapons, aka adept weapons, are going to have enhanced perks, same thing with trials and stuff like that. A big change that they're making is that they're no longer going to just spam craftable weapons every single season. They're going to have weapons that are craftable, yes, but there are going to be other weapons that you are going to have to farm for, which one is probably bad if you don't have a lot of time, but those weapons can be better than craftables because they're going to have better perks, enhanced traits. You can now slot mementos and stuff like that into randomly rolled weapons, so that just because you have a crafted weapon with a trials memento, it doesn't make it better than having a randomly rolled weapon. So you can actually put on those mementos, put on those mods, get those enhanced perks to make randomly rolled weapons actually viable. They're also adding a system where you're only going to see deep sight weapons for weapons you haven't gotten yet. So for example, if you don't have the pattern for Without Remorse, the shotgun from Season of the Haunting, if that was your last weapon that you needed for deep sight, that would be the only deep sight weapon you would ever find. You won't find random ones out and about that don't do anything for you, and you wouldn't find duplicates either. As well as this, starting in Season of the Deep, the one after Defiance, they're going to be adding a system to activate deep sight on a weapon that you don't have a pattern for. For example, if I have a succession that's not deep sighted, and in Season of the Deep, when they add this mechanic, I will be able to make that random rolled sniper into a deep sight weapon to get the pattern, which I think is a really cool addition, and I cannot wait to see that employed. Enough about weapon crafting, let's talk about general game balance. Bungie basically states that the game is too easy. It's a big paragraph, but like 2 or 3 paragraphs of describing how and what ways the game isn't really applying its difficulty. So in short, Bungie is just saying the game is too easy. So what they're doing, and what they mentioned last TWAB, or the last post that they made, is they're going to be reducing ability recharge time across the board, across all abilities, and they will be reducing the benefits you gain from every tier of your stats. So mobility, resilience, recovery, all of them. They're going to be reducing all of the maximum abilities, recharge, and stuff all the way down to tier 8. Tier 8 is going to be the new tier 10. They're also going to be changing how your resist mods work on ad stuff. So they're going to be making it more expensive to have a resist mod on your chest piece than it was before. Because every time you had a chest piece, it was just going to be 2 resist mods, a stat mod, and a charge with light mod or whatever. And that would be your chest piece the entire time. I don't think I've actually put on reserves for like 2 years. So Bungie across the board is making general content a little bit more difficult so that guns and abilities are both intertwined rather than you spamming throwing knives as a hunter and shooting your primary weapon like twice every 3 hours. I'll be saving my opinions till the end of the video, but I think this is a perfect change. Reducing ability regen and reducing the ability to spam all of your shit makes the game so much more engaging, so much more fun to play, and I'm just all for it. Some more difficulty changes. You know how in Season of the Seraph, it makes you be like 5 power levels under what the enemies are, where you can still roll them if you have the correct build, but they'll kick your ass if you don't? They're going to be applying that for the Vanguard Strike playlist as well. Thank God! The Vanguard playlist has been an absolute fucking joke for years. years it has been absolutely stupid how easy it is, and I'm so happy that they're making that change, and I've been asking for it. Ever since that sort of contest mini thing came out, I've been asking for that. I've been like, put this in the Strike playlist, put it there, and they finally are doing it. Oh my god, I can play Strikes again! Alright, moving on from me gushing over that, we're going on to PvP now, which is something that a lot of people are putting really heavy eyes on because PvP has been absolutely awful for years. It's literally been impossible to play PvP and have fun or just not get bored of it after so long. So they're making some changes to PvP. Thankfully. They say blah blah blah, PvP's here to stay, we think it's a core part of the Destiny experience, so I'll believe them, but if you're gonna add disjunction 500 days after the last new Crucible map, I don't know, man, it doesn't seem very high up on your priority, but whatever. A returning game mode will be coming back known as Countdown. If you play Destiny 2 Vanilla, this is going to be the OG competitive experience where you place a bomb and you defend it, and if it blows up, you win a round. If you kill everyone, you also win. So Countdown is coming back, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen anything about any other new game mode ideas that they might have or any returning ones. They might mention it later down the line, but I don't believe I saw any. Moving on to the map discussion, as in new maps. So in Destiny 2 right now, it's been very stale. There have been little to no new maps other than Disjunction. Like I said, that took like, what, 500 days to come out? Yeah, it's pretty rough out here. They announced that they are bringing in a map called Meltdown. I forget if it's an old one or a new one, but either way, more Crucible maps is always fine as long as it's not Disjunction. And then they're also going to be adding a new map in the Vex network in Season 22. And in the season before Final Shape, they'll also be adding another map called Citadel. They say they hope to keep this kind of plan moving forward throughout the seasons and the years, and I'm honestly okay with that. If that means 3 maps for Crucible, 1 old, 2 new, I'm by all means, absolutely, please. I don't even play PvP, but I understand having new places to shoot people at is so damn important. Because I've been playing Jav 4 for, what, 6 years now? So yeah, I'd say a new Crucible map every once in a while is definitely the right choice. Thank you, Bungie, for actually saying that you're going to stick to your guns on that. Now, this next point is something I'm actually very passionate about, and it's the exotic missions. As we all know, exotic missions are really nice curated missions, kind of like mini dungeons to give you an exotic weapon. Think of the Glykon, Seraph Station, the Hawkmoon, whatever it was called, I don't even remember. So exotic missions, instead of being vaulted like they have had before, they are going into a weekly rotation, just like dungeons and just like raids. Fucking yes! I loved the Glykon. The atmosphere of the Glykon was so awesome. The story experiences that you can have in these missions are sometimes the best you can get in a whole season, and it really upset me when they decided to vault them and didn't bring them back. I am so unbelievably happy that new players will be able to play through the Glykon or be able to see the Traveler from space in the Seraph Station. Oh, it's so good. I love this. It should have been there from the beginning, but I'll take credit where I can get it, man. It's so good that this is staying. Some more changes to the Vanguard playlist as far as Battlegrounds and Strikes are concerned. First off, Lake of Shadows and Arms Dealer have been reworked, where some of their encounters have been brought up to the standards of current encounters in the game right now. So I think that's good. Anything to improve the design up to this new standard that we have is perfectly fine with me. The problem with that, though, things like Exodus Crash Inverted Spire are actually being taken out of their rotation of Nightfalls, and they will have their presence lessened in Vanguard ops until they rework those strikes to be more viable for this current climate that we're in. I think that's fine. I don't really like either of them. They're both very long, very tedious. They don't really do anything new and interesting, so I'm perfectly fine with that. do keep in mind, they're not removing them. They're just lessening their presence. So you get them less in Vanguard Ops. You don't get them in Nightfalls, but you can still direct launch into them if you wanted to play them for some reason. But something I do want to mention is what the hell's going to happen to the Trichromatica Ghost Shell. Most people don't really care about it, but it's a Ghost Shell that you got as a Nightfall reward for the Inverted Spire. So what the hell is going to happen to it? I don't know. There was some discussion on whether or not Season 19 Battlegrounds will be implemented into the Vanguard playlist, just like Season of the Chosen, and yes, they will be integrated, but even better than that, they're going to be part of Nightfall rotation, either as their own separate thing, or part of actual Nightfalls. So you are going to have things like Grandmaster Heist Battlegrounds, because why the fuck not? If you have it, might as well make it butt-fuck hard. So I'm actually kind of okay with that. That's pretty cool. We have some also social changes coming in Lightfall as well. Obviously, the commendation system, the Guardian rank stuff, that's all coming. We already know what that is, but a change is going to be made to text chat, actually, where they're going to be opting people into general text chat more often. So if you were to load into a Crucible game and you hopped into team chat, everyone would be in team chat unless they opted out of it. You can't opt out of it if you want to, but it's just a way of getting more people to talk to each other or talk shit to each other. Either or, doesn't really bother me. A little bit of light was shed on the commendation system and how it works. So after an activity is completed, you'll get this little showcase and you'll be able to click on cards to commend somebody for doing something good. For example, they gave Trials something as Perceptive, which is a trial-specific card for that specific activity. So people will know what activities you've been and how good you are in that aspect of the game, which I think is pretty cool. And last but not least, we have the LFG. The in-game LFG is actually going to be a thing, and it's just about as you'd expect. You have posts, you have challenges, you have little tags, you have everything. It's literally all there. It's just as you would need it to be. It's going to be in-game the whole time, and they might be making changes to the in-game voice chat to make it sound better. Maybe they'll change the codec finally from 2014, but who knows. Anyways, we're rolling on 16 minutes, and I tried making it as fast as possible to read this, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. This is probably the best state of the game post we have ever gotten. It's not like all the other ones were bad, it's just this one actually addressed problems we've had in the game for a while. Instead of starting to add things onto the game, they're going retroactive, they're going back, they're fixing things that should have been fixed for so long. Difficulty, strikes, nightfalls, sunsetting, all that stuff, and it's so goddamn good. I'm so happy the way that this game is going, because all it seems like is we're going up instead of down. We have Crucible, which is being updated consistently, finally, after years. We're getting new maps. We're gonna get 3 of them a year, consistently, which if you look back on what we've gotten before, that is a far cry from anything we've ever gotten in the Crucible. And Vanguard Strikes are finally going to be fun again. Your builds are going to be tested. You're going to be challenged. Your guns are actually going to mean something instead of just being a way of spamming more abilities. I am so absolutely happy with how this is going. I cannot wait for these 2 weeks to be over because I can finally love Destiny again. I've been feeling so sluggish playing the same shit over and over and missing what we've lost. Things like the Glycon and strikes and planets, and it's so nice to finally feel like things are taking a good direction. We're gonna have in-game LFG. Guided games is such a fucking relic that we're getting LFG in the game with proper voice chat and text chat. And like, I understand that most games should have this by launch. Some people are gonna say you should have had it at launch, and yeah, you probably should have. But the fact that they're taking the time to address it now instead of just pumping out new content like they know they can and get people to pay for it means that they care and that they're trying to make it better. And honestly, I fucking love it. I love this new direction, and I cannot wait for Lightfall, dude. And honestly, I cannot wait for the next 2-3 years of Destiny, because this has shown me that they understand what is wrong with the game and that they know how to fix it. It has given me so much faith in this game studio. After so long of people complaining on Twitter, saying that the game is just going worse and worse and worse, we finally get an explanation and we finally get solutions to the things we've been asking for so long. And that just brings me so much joy. Listen, I understand that this video is coming on to like 20 minutes. And if you listen through all of it, thank you so much for actually sticking by it, because it was a long one, but I really wanted to break it down with all the important bits. And I'm so happy. Anyways, that'll be all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. Go watch my other stuff. Goodbye.